So I'm here today to talk about how we have a training program and we partnered with the ARC of Loudoun to run this program. And it actually didn't start that way. We started, and I touched on this a little bit when I was talking earlier today about how we got started. A lot of what we started to do in Loudoun really was to educate our partners. We're in the suburbs of Washington, D.C. We're in Northern Virginia, and we are a big county I guess relatively speaking, but we're a fairly large county and really diverse in culture in that the eastern side of the county is pretty urban. The western side of the county is really where we have a lot more of our tourism and our attractions, and those are wineries, those are historic towns, those are agritourism businesses. So there's a lot of different things when you look at accessibility that we need to try to focus on and figure out how we're tackling those things. But with regard to this training program, years ago, we have a hospital system in Loudoun that had a renowned autism specialist that was wanting to run a program out of that hospital. And so there was a lot of activity around how to support the families that were going to be coming into Loudoun to be a part of that research program. So we had several of our hotels and our restaurants and a couple of our attractions that went through an autism training, and that was how we were first introduced with the Thompson Center for Neurological Research. So that was the very beginning of being introduced. Fast forward to 2022, I think, and we had some more trainings. We started talking more about what it meant to become a welcoming destination. And we talked with the Thompson Center again, and we had a little bit of funding that we had received through ARPA, when everybody got some funding from everything that happened through COVID. And we asked them to come out and hold some more awareness trainings in our destinations. So they came out in 2023, and they had 3 autism awareness trainings in Loudoun, and that kind of brought the training program back again. And it was great. We had a lot of partners who signed up for it, and we had a lot of interest in it. We did think at that point that we were still missing a more well-rounded program. So we decided to change the program a little bit. We developed sensory kits for every business that went through the program. They received sensory kits for their locations. Those were curated by us and provided to them at no cost. Again, it was part of them going through the program. But what we wanted to do was to see a more well-rounded program that added mobility. It added, working with visitors who had visual impairments or hearing impairments. So again, bringing in more aspects for the accessibility community. So we put out an RFP, and when we put out that RFP, the ARC of Loudoun responded, and they said, we've really got the autism piece of this. And if you're okay with it, we'd like to bring in another agency that can help us with the other aspects, the mobility, the hearing, and they do a lot in that as well within their organization. But they were going to bring in a different organization to kind of help them make sure that they were covering everything that they needed to. So we got 4 very strong RFPs, including the ARC of Loudoun. And in the end, we did decide to go with the ARC. And I don't know how many of you are familiar with ARC, but I will tell you, our local ARC chapter's mission is to advocate for, educate, serve, and support people with disabilities and their families. They have 5 integrated, comprehensive, and direct service programs that serve more than 5,000 people within our community. So not only do they know what they're doing, but they also have a vested interest in our community and making sure that people within our community are served, but also understand what it means to be serving people within our community who require the assistance. So that was one of the reasons why we chose to go with them. Again, the other part of that was that they were a local organization. In bringing on the Arc of Loudoun to run our program, they have a destination knowledge, which was really great. They were able to offer a wide range of training dates for this. Their mission aligned already with what we, with what we were trying to accomplish. And it's not a one and done program. So we no longer own that program. We were able to fund the beginning of it with the ARPA funding. We were able to provide the information packets and the training documents and everything. Again, like I said, we're providing the sensory kits and we'll continue to provide the sensory kits for the program. But the Arc of Loudoun now owns this program. And that's huge because I know if you're a DMO in this room, many of you know that we all wear multiple hats, so you don't always have the bandwidth you have these great programs and then you don't always have the bandwidth to see them through or run them the way that you want them to. So we were able to say to the ARC, that's great, and we want you to continue to do this because you're here in Loudoun and we want our tourism and hospitality partners to do this because, as you said, there's a lot of turnover in tourism and hospitality. So if you're training somebody at a front desk, maybe next year they've got a new front desk person, and we want that person to be able to go through the program as well. So if you have somebody local, they own the program, they're invested in the community, they can continue to run with these dates and they can continue to put them forward. Our job is to make sure that our tourism and hospitality partners know that the training is available. So that's what we'll continue to do. We'll continue to market the program to our partners. We'll continue to push the importance of understanding why they should be putting their employees through the program. Also, I got some great notes this morning. I mean, even just talking or listening to the other panelists discussing some of their experiences. I know, for example, that Washington Dulles International Airport outsources their traveler services. So when I was listening to Sassy talk about the horrible experience that she had coming here, I thought I need to reach out to MWA and find out who does traveler services for them. We need to contact that company and they need to make sure they go through this training. So the training is no longer called Welcome Here, which was what the Thompson Center had called it. The Arc of Loudoun calls it You Belong Here. And for every program, every business with a storefront that goes through this, they receive what are those words I'm looking for? They receive clings for their windows, for their storefronts. They receive, they receive other documentation that they can display in their businesses, saying that they are welcoming and that they've gone through this training. Like I said, they have the sensory kits on site if they need the sensory kits as well. They did a beta test, and they had 58 partners participate in the beta test. And what they found was that that they all felt that it was well worth it, that they felt that as their staff continued to turn over, because they did a post-survey after the program, that as their staff continued to turn over, that they would continue to send the new staff to this program, that they were eyes wide open and really truly didn't understand what it meant to be fully welcoming, had never really, you don't know what you don't know, right? So I think that was kind of the big deal for them. So we were really happy about that. And the program is, the cost is $25 per person to take it. So, and we've been, in first promoting it, we've been providing sponsorships and scholarships and things like that for some of our smaller businesses in order to get them to come through the program. So I would say it's been really successful. And like I said, our job now is to continue to promote it and for the ARC to continue to see it evolve. And I think if you have these local organizations within your community, you should take advantage of them, because I will say we have ECHO, Empowering Individuals for Life. That is an organization that works with special needs individuals, and they're the ones who curated our sensory kits. And we hired them and contract with them to put the bags together for us and to curate those products. So, yeah, we're working with all of our local organizations.